What's poppin', y'all? This is D Durable One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. And as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great, and even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, understanding and knowing the knowledge that is not taught to us behind having the ability to control your spiritual gifts. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has the ability to tap into their spiritual gifts. Everyone, right? But often, more times than not, is the fact that when you get so caught up in your ego and your pride of wanting to be validated and seen, you will tend to use the gifts you have in a form of ego. You got to really understand that gifts are formed in the spirit, and you have to have a purpose behind using your gift. It is not able to be, understood when you're moving out of ego, meaning you want to be a show out, you want to be seen, you know what I'm saying? Because realizing and knowing that a lot of times your purpose in life and the reason you have certain gifts is because it's there to make a certain impact in the world, not just for you, but everybody around you. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think about it like a lot of people only want these certain gifts because they want to feel validated. They want to be paid. You know what I'm saying? They want to be seen because they're not understanding the background aspect to it. And you got to think how oftentimes that creates a lot of darkness in the world. People that are soulless oftentimes are easier to control. They're easier to manipulate. They're easier to finesse. They're easier to be told what to do because they are soulless. You know what I'm saying? They're usually following the voice of someone that is going to help cater to whatever need they need in their life. And you got to understand how that promotes so much darkness in the world. The people who know this, you know what I'm saying, tend to be out in the world scouting and energetically drawn to people that have gifts because they're soulless and they're on a mission. And the mission is that in order to disguise who I truly am for real, I have to be able to pick up on the energy of someone who's gifted and in their purpose. So therefore, I can have a better way of understanding how to disguise who I truly am, so I never have to be revealed. Because you got to think of it. I'm in it for ego reasons. I'm in it for money. I'm in it for monetary gain. I'm in it for looking good. I'm not really using my gift in a form of purpose to be able to change the world in a way. You know what I'm saying? You got to think like really deep when it comes to that. There are a lot of people who are very gifted in life right now, but they're using it in a dark way, because actually going in the closet and healing is something that is just too hard for them to do. But once you do that, you're able to use your gifts in a way where you're moving in a purpose. I mean, you operate a certain way in life because you're on a bigger mission. And people in their daily lives can't see it because a lot of them only see, they got this, they got this, they got this energy, we want it, let's get close to them, figure out how to steal it. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to be glorified. We want the attention to be on us. Listen, and you got to understand you're moving out of an egotistical way, which is the ability to not fully comprehend what comes behind your spiritual gifts. Because again, like I said, they move out of spirit, not ego. So anytime you haven't healed a wound and you moving out of ego, trying to impress somebody and look good and demean someone, you can fake and pretend and portray like you have these spiritual gifts, but the true understanding of realizing how they work is they're through spirit. So that means you're focusing and zoning in on the mission and what you came here to do. And everybody's mission is different, but you know what I'm saying? Some people are here to expose darkness The only way that you can have effective change in the world to, you know what I'm saying, brighten up the world that we live in is to be able to expose the darkness. And once you do that, oftentimes the spiritual assignment they signed up to will automatically alleviate them. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it's so complex to people that don't get it, but then not really. So you got to think, as the energy is shifting and moving, right? And we're going from dark energy to light energy, right? There are people that want to still operate in this light world in a dark way. So they're sent to attack the people who got spiritual gifts and put them in situations where we're able to siphon their energy to be able to survive in this light world. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times you'll have certain corporations and certain, you know what I'm saying, systems that are put in place to help the growth of other people. But when it's moving backwards because of the darkness in it and it's not really helping anyone, there is no one in that corporation or system really knows what's truly going on except for the people that's in it. You know what I'm saying? And if you are ever going to expose what is really going on inside that corporation, you're going against the system. And now they put a bounty on your head, and you got to think a lot of people ain't willing to take that risk. You know what I'm saying? But again, you got to really think to yourself, darkness exposes cracks in the system. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll do whatever they can to get ahead as far as protecting their reputation. You know what I'm saying? And protecting the reputation of the model that they're putting out for whatever system or corporation they have. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you don't even know what you're signing up for when you go in. You think you getting a job, you know what I'm saying, to help you maintain your stability in life. And then once you get your foot in the door, you start to really see what's going on for real. And if you're a person who put on a mask to get the job, but you're really moving in a dark way, and now you see everybody in this corporation is moving in a dark way, everybody starts to move in a dark way. So you got to think, the people oftentimes that operate the system and cooperate in the system are actually dark people. So if you're a person of light, it's almost hard to survive in that environment. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to make sure they do everything they can to turn you into one of them. And that is how you do like a reversible type of growth, where no matter what, you stand strong in who you are, because you know that the assignment you're on is not aligned up with what they're on. So you have to be understanding of how to protect yourself, because you're on an experiment assignment where you're paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And you're understanding what's going on, because effective change comes with the ability to fully harness your gifts, because you're moving in your life's purpose. You know what I'm saying? And listen, some people can see it, some people can't. Some people don't even realize that with growth comes the ability to be able to, you know what I'm saying, see into things that maybe hindered people in the background. You know what I'm saying? People are not growing. They're stagnant. They're not moving nowhere because there are certain people of dark that are shuffling these systems to operate in a certain way so that they're able to keep, you know what I'm saying, funding money in their pocket. That's just the reality of how it is. And then you can use it on a regular scale. You feel me? Darkness causes violence. You know what I'm saying? Darkness causes people to cut corners. Darkness causes people to be smarter in a way to where it hurts other people. So you have people in certain corporations and systems that get smarter and they're caught on to that. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, let me use an example. Because I'm black, automatically you would want to label me as how you label all other black people. She's violent. You feel me? She's very spiritually gifted, but she's going to use it for, you know what I'm saying, trying to get ahead in an illegal way, by hurting somebody, by trying to achieve things in her life, but in a way where we've made it a law, or it's not okay, or it's going to hurt someone. So let's figure out how to make her environment or what she's going through so low to where we bring that side out of her, and then we're able to point that image on everyone. You know what I'm saying? So now we have the ability to fight something. But when you become resistant to, you know what I'm saying, the things that people have painted about you, it tends to drop that facade curtain of what people have been brainwashed to think. You know what I'm saying? I don't do substances. I don't smoke. I don't drink. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in toxic relationships. I'm not out here sleeping around with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things that people look for when they're studying you, and this is on a spiritual level. You know what I'm saying? You think people are monitoring you who are just in front of you, but you got to realize that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So there are a lot of people tapped into your energetic field, good and bad, who are dictating how you move in life. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a connection to you. So you have to just be dedicated to understanding that your gifts grow and your ability to manage and use them for good when you're moving out of a purpose for why you are doing what you're doing. But when you are just using your gifts to, you know what I'm saying, hurt people and get ahead strictly because you've been hurt in your life and you don't know how to heal from that, that's when people oftentimes fake like they're these gifted individuals. They're channeling this, they got that, but they're still hurt from whatever they went through. You know what I'm saying? So they have no problem with making someone feel small, but at the same time snatching their energy from them, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times it won't, because a lot of people are not energetically aligned with what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? They're growing into it, but it's still a process, because you got to realize like this. When you're someone that comes into contact with people and you have the ability to awaken them up to gifts that they never used before, they're still mentally trapped in the old world. So they go against you, even though whatever they're feeling or going through is something they have never experienced before. But because it's so new and foreign, they're still stuck to what they already know. So because of that, they'll pull them back once they engage in the very things that's actually hindering them from being able to use their gifts in a way where it creates change, not in a way where you walk around trying to seek validation and attention, because that's something you've never got in your life. You're going about it in the backwards way. It's the work that you have to do to be able to have a purpose, when being able to tap into your gifts to use them for effective change. And as you are able to do that, you grow in who you are as a person. So you naturally get the things that you are out here seeking and chasing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people tend to not really understand that, because the work of healing the past is something that they either never thought they had to do, or it becomes too hard, because the way they were moving in life is be able to, you know what I'm saying, on a spiritual level, suck good energy from people, even though we're dark, get the bag, so we never even have to go there. We're just going to act like that never happened. But we're going to be able to present to people that were of status, of honor, and give us the attention because of what we have, and, you know what I'm saying, the reputation that we've solidified in the world. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't think people really ever really truly fully understood how the energy on the world in the world has been used to facilitate corporations, businesses, you know, like everything is the energetic frequency between you and another person. You know what I'm saying? But listen, a lot of people don't have a purpose because their pain is too higher frequency energy level, that they don't understand what their purpose is. They don't even understand how to move in it, because they're still captivated by the things that have trapped them in far as pain. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you, that's why it's a good thing in a way to not be emotionally attached to people, because if you are and they're in a bad spot in their life and they're still trying to heal the pain, they'll use their energy to tap into yours to be able to have you start thinking that you're not worth nothing, that you know what I'm saying, have these gifts just like other people, but we don't, you know what I'm saying, been trained on how to use them in a good way because we are in pain and hurt. Listen, it's complicated, really, but at the same time, that's why it's so good to truly know who you are, like to do whatever is necessary to understand your purpose and what you're here to do. You know what I'm saying? Because once you figure that out, it's easy to detach from people and not get too close to people, because there are people, like I said, they've been assigned to go after ones they think that are most vulnerable. And these people are such good actors. They'll play extra vulnerable. They'll act. They'll do whatever you need them to do to try to siphon whatever they can from you to be able to fuel this dark energy in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because all it needs to be able to do is take on someone's identity of what's currently going on in the world to be able to fit in this world that we're creating, so that they can be able to operate in a way to where their true darkness is not exposed until after they done took over something, or, you know what I'm saying, gain a part of people's minds where they're out here hurting people, you know, or just out of power. You feel me? That's why having an extreme purpose is so important, because you're more open and being able to access your gifts than others who use it in a form of ego. You know what I'm saying? I only want to expose my gifts because I want to be somebody. I want to have attention on me. You know what I'm saying? I want to get the money, even though I'm really a dark person for real. So I think a lot of people who haven't really actually grew are still growing. You can't even tell the difference between those people. You know what I'm saying? Because your energy is so aligned with these people that know how to fake it. Just like you go out into the world and you fake it every day. You pretend. You know what I'm saying? But a person that's truly operating in light and using their gifts because they have a purpose, they will disguise themselves and blend in an environment where, you know what I'm saying, they think that a person is like everyone else. And what happens is the things that go on in that system, in that environment, will be recorded, intercepted, and displayed to be able to go back to have people come in that could be able to expose that darkness. Because, listen, I ain't even gonna lie, I'm just gonna be real. I live in a city where it has been dark for a very long time. And the only reason why it's really been like that is because people were vulnerable. They didn't know who they were. So it's easy for me to manipulate you and finesse you into believing something that I know ain't even going to benefit you, but it's going to benefit me. And just to think, if you got everybody operating like that, nothing is what it seems. Everything, if you think about it, could be fake and misaligned simply because one person told a lie and everybody's doing their best to keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be validated. Everybody wants to hold some type of status in life. I think that's what life is about. Being able to do something where it counts, it matters. But you're not really doing nothing that counts and matters if you're still in the energy of, I need attention. You know what I'm saying? I need money. I'm still hurt by the wounds in my childhood that I'm moving out of my ego. You know what I'm saying? You got to push all that to the side. Otherwise, you won't have a purpose in life. You'll just be living to die. You know what I'm saying? And there is really no validation like that. There is no longevity in that. Ain't nobody really going to remember you when you die because you were in your ego. Everything you did it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You didn't do it to help nobody. It was only to get you ahead. You know what I'm saying? You got to really think how certain things in life on an energetic frequency comes back around and doubles and is able to stand the test of time. Like, it's weird how it works, but some people will be alive in life and they'll be pushing a certain agenda. You know what I'm saying? They'll be successful for this or that. And people won't acknowledge it until that person is dead. You know what I'm saying? And that just helps you understand how the energy is imbalanced in the world. Because if what I did to show growth, to help people, was not understood until I died, what was people really aiming towards in the beginning? They don't really know. They just know that you were leveling up, but a lot of people had that anger, that animosity, that jealousy. So they see you leveling up in life and they're on a comparison type of compete type of status, not realizing what you were on and what you were pushing was something totally different from anything they could comprehend. Because again, they're still you running out of a motive of, I need attention. You know what I'm saying? I need money. I need this. I need to be somebody, without even understanding that your energy frequency stands the test of time. But you have to move with purpose. It means you're out here accomplishing a way bigger mission than people can understand, because a lot of people are just basic minded. It's about me. It's about what I can do. It's about how I'm get ahead. You're not living in a purpose if it's just about you. So that's how I can see through people who actually are using their gifts and people who are just trying to monetize. You know what I'm saying? You're still struggling in the background, and you're trying to be somebody in a world where you don't understand the work that has to be done behind the scenes. You're trying to cut corners. So you're copying and pasting what you see, and you're trying to make a living out of it, but not really showing your true hand. You know what I'm saying? And right now, in this day and age, it's about being authentic. I think it's been like that for a minute, though. You know what I'm saying? Being authentic was the way to get ahead, but it was like no one was really showing us how to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people who are soulless don't really know how to be themselves because they have no damn idea of who that person even is. Because everything they've done in life has been the product of someone else's energy. So, listen, just understanding and being wise enough to understand that there are people that have gifts, and a lot of people do, but there are people that are using them for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? And then there are people that are honestly using them because they have a purpose to make effective change in the world. You know, listen, my people have been held back for too long just due to our skin color. Slavery didn't die, it just evolved. And you got to think of how a lot of people don't even see that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so caught up in their pain and their trauma. You know what I'm saying? So listen, move with a purpose, but understand and realize that you won't even be able to tell because these people are in a disguise. And it's kind of cool to have your energy cloaked sometimes because people be thinking so much about you without even realizing who you are and what you've been sent here to do. And then once things start popping off, you feel me, and stuff start happening that wasn't normal, they only want to look at the downside of it instead of looking at the positive side of it. And that's what comes with change. You know what I'm saying? You are using the power you held to move out of ego. You got a kick out of controlling people. You got a kick out of telling people what to do, even if it didn't help uplift them in life. As long as it was just about you. You know what I'm saying? And then again, listen, you could talk about me, you could say whatever you want about me, but when you moving on a purpose, at the end of the day, you wait it out and be patient, and you'll start to see the overturning of darkness into light. Therefore, the world won't just be one or two people shining, but it'll be everybody having the ability to move in their own purpose to create a life where they're at peace and they're fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? And money comes easily, but you have to be able to align your frequency with the law of attraction. It's really real. But a lot of us don't even know what's required behind that to get to that level because we've been taught to get it fast, manipulate, finesse somebody. You feel me? Steal from them what you need for yourself. Don't let them grow. Hope they become stagnant. Wish worse on them. And that's how the competition game starts. I gotta have this. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Lie to them. Tell them you gonna do this and you gonna do that. You ain't. But I don't want it to detach from them because I need them for something. And then it becomes so complicated. You know what I'm saying? Understanding and realizing at this point in life right now, a lot of people are waking up to their giftedness. But there are people that are moving on a purpose with trying to create effective change, not just for themselves, but for everybody. And then there are people that are moving in their ego. They only want to become better in who they are. You know what I'm saying? They don't care who they got to shit on or kick down to get ahead, as long as it's about them. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, those people are very good at disguising kindness to be evil. And you got to be careful because they'll suck you in. And by the time you realize they really dark for real, they just copied and paste, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? And they done sucked you in. And it becomes now a real thing for you where your energy is on a constant loop. And you don't know how to get out if you're not strong enough. And they probably already picked that out when they seen you. So listen, become strong in who you are. Know how to protect yourself from the Darth Vaders of the world. But at the same time, understand and know not only are you growing inside yourself, you're also using your giftedness for effective change in the world, which is your purpose. Everybody's purpose is different, but a purpose is the ability to be able to grow in who you are, but also help other people. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think a lot of people in the world don't think like that, but they pretend. It's easy to control people's minds who don't know who they are. I could tell you anything about me. And if you don't know who you are, but you only looking at the energy I may have, you're going to believe it. And I could be lying through my teeth. You know what I'm saying? But you don't stand for nothing. So you're going to fall for anything. You feel me? So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.